from 7 to 9. When you see that notification, we about to go live. Hit this track and do you dance like you Karen Lacey. Run it back to turn Matthew to the house, baby. It's Tingle Co. From 7 to 9. Come keep with the show. It's a new era. Let's get it, let's go. From 7 to 9. It's Tingle Co.
All right, good morning and welcome in here on this Wednesday morning as we are live, just like every other day, from our Southern Regional Medical Center studios. Shout out to our guys, Charles Harvey, Jason Ramazan, KJ, BJ, Kevin, the rest of the team here at Southern Regional, taking great care of us. Come and hang out with us after the show, chatting it up. Shout out to them. Shout out to Christian and Lloyd for being here this morning. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning, gentlemen.
How are we feeling?
Nervous.
Yeah, a little nervous.
Christian.
Oh.
Stand up for me, sir. Announce yourself. Trip out.
5'6".
Too early.
Trip out.
Yeah, I'm
Recruit.
5'6", actually. You didn't know that?
No.
I measured myself the other day. I'm
Did you?
5'6".
There you
We
go.
tried cheating me and saying that I was 5'5".
5'6". Congratulations.
And
So the women, I'm 5'7".
Not 6'7".
Speaking of 6'7", LSU got a 6'7" tight end commit flip yesterday from Ole Miss. He was originally committed and flipped to the Tigers. We'll obviously get into a lot more of the recruiting noise today, as it is early signing day, national signing day. I don't know what to call it, but I know it is the early signing period, and there's a bit of drama and or panic around early signing day and LSU, as some news came out yesterday that the two top players in LSU's class may be just not decommitting from LSU, not flipping, but not signing today. There has still been some movement on that front throughout the night. Shout out, I do want to credit Shea Dixon, who I don't think slept last night.
No.
Whatsoever. Obviously woke up this morning, got onto the On3 website, checked out what they had going on over there, and Shea had been cranking out the content all throughout the night. So credit to Shea Dixon. 2 claps. Ready.
Do you think he enjoys it? Or no?
You have to. You have to. To do that, where you stay up all night and you're working the phones and you're reading and you're writing and you're typing and you're this article, that article, message board here, there, everywhere, you've got to enjoy it. There's no way you don't. Because that is...
I'm sure there was a time in his life where it was more fun, right?
Well, it's all changed now. You know? It's different.
Like, you would be getting ready for the Bayou Bash.
Of course.
Like, you have some information. People are all, And they're like, oh, I don't know. You give them a little tidbit there, a tidbit here. Now I'm talking to agents, I'm talking to players, I'm talking to coaches, and the conversation has changed. And you're trying for Shea. I mean, he has relationships on this staff, but now it's a whole new staff.
Right.
So it's like, where do I go to try to kind of put me in touch with who to know, what to do, who to talk to? And it's all, I would imagine, very much based in high school coaching.
Yes.
As you saw one coach that is very much tied to high school coaching in a certain area kind of be in the middle of all this. And first of all, the things that people are saying online about Frank Wilson are absolutely unfounded and untrue. And, like, y'all need to go touch some grass. I understand we've all been on the internet for a while now, from the Lane Kiffin news to who's going to be on the coaching staff to Blake Baker to now you're turning on Frank Wilson, who was lauded, was it not this entire month, for doing what he did for LSU and holding together the recruiting class and coaching the team. And now because, Lane Kiffin trying to bring in Kevin Smith, it's everybody flipped on Frank Wilson and said he's sabotaging the staff. He's sabotaging the recruiting class. Why would he coach the bowl game if he was going to sabotage the LSU Tigers? Anybody?
Yeah, look, I mean, I think this is the current standing, right? When we've spoke about Frank Wilson, we've discussed him in a role outside of running backs coach, because I do think that if you're bringing in Lane Kiffin as your head football coach, and I said it, we shot a social media video with Wyatt the other day, and it'll probably come out this week, and it was build your dream team staff around Lane Kiffin. And on the offensive side of the ball, Lloyd and I both said, whatever Lane wants, do it. That is the main reason why you brought him in to be your head coach, to run the program and get it back to where it belongs. But he's an offensive guru. So whoever he wants on the offensive staff in certain spots, you let him do it, right? And that can be a tough pill to swallow, because your running backs coach is Frank Wilson, who means more than just a position coach. But my mindset has always been Lane brings his guys in, especially on that side of the ball. He also can bring his guys in defensively, but there's a little bit of a different conversation there. So I've always understood Frank being replaced as the running backs coach. But Frank does serve a larger purpose, right? It comes down to if Frank is willing to be an off-the-field recruiting coordinator, front office type guy, rather than an on-the-field coach, and he's gone from being an on-the-field position coach for the last 3 years to now being the interim head coach and leading the program. He's always been an on-the-field coach. But it is true that his most important aspect to Frank moving forward under Lane Kiffin's staff is his ability to recruit the state of Louisiana, the relationships he has specifically in New Orleans, right? That is his most important skill moving forward on this staff. It's not his prowess as a running backs coach. His most important skill that he brings to Lane Kiffin is the ability to recruit the state of Louisiana. And so I love Frank Wilson, and I believe that Lane should keep Frank Wilson. Find a way, right? Find a way to make it work. But if you can't, you do have to sit back under the belief of what Lane Kiffin decides to do, you kind of have to be okay with right now. That's the reason you brought him in. That's the reason you hired him. And I know that we are burned a bit by the last time a coach was hired, and he wiped the cupboard, left it bare, especially on the defensive side of the ball, brought all new guys in, then had to recant, go back and solve that, right? So we look at it again and we're like, well, is Lane going to do the same thing Brian Kelly did? Well, that's how most coaches operate anyways. But Lane's already taken a step in the direction away from what BK did, where he's retaining Blake Baker. Now, it comes down to if Blake takes a Tulane job or not, but if he doesn't, he's LSU's defensive coordinator, which keeps the defensive staff in place in the most part. I personally don't believe that Frank Wilson is sabotaging LSU football. Frank Wilson is a man that went up on the podium the first time you heard from him as the interim head coach and talked about his love for Mother University, his love for LSU, and how much bigger it is than one man, right? I don't think Frank Wilson is sabotaging LSU football for personal gain. I do think, however, you have to understand that a guy like Richard Anderson is committed to Frank Wilson. The Edna Carr head coach, his relationship on this staff is with Frank Wilson. As of right now, or as of yesterday when this happened, right? That can change. This is the place you're at now. A new staff is coming in. And so it's time for those relationships to be built. And so I personally believe that Frank Wilson should be on the staff because he's that important in the recruiting of this state. But you are in the position now where you have brought in a new head coach because you were 7-5. And especially on the offensive side of the football, whatever Lane says goes. That's the spot you're in now. And I know that it can give a little bit of PTSD because 4 years ago, Brian Kelly came in and wiped out the coaching staff, replaced everyone but Brad Davis. Got rid of Austin Thomas in the front office, got rid of Blake Baker, Corey Raymond, got rid of all these guys that a couple years later, after year 2, had to call back and say, hey,
I done fucked up.
Will you come back? I get it. I've got the same qualms because it's embarrassing for LSU as a program when the head coach has to recant and be like, I'm an idiot. I made a mistake.
I didn't listen to anybody.
You all told me not to make, right? And
that's where you are right now because nobody pounded the desk harder for Frank Wilson and Corey Raymond to come back than I feel like I did just because it's basically what I know as watching LSU growing up and hearing all the stories of how Frank Wilson recruited the people that Corey Raymond brought in.
Right.
And that was the peak of my powers of watching recruiting and seeing who was doing it and the players that were brought in. It's like, this makes a ton of sense. Then you hear the stories about how Frank Wilson can get you into any room in New Orleans, how Corey Raymond can go pluck a 5-star from anywhere in the country.
Right.
And it's like, well, this just makes sense. And then when you see them in the purple and gold, it's like everybody's a little bit, they tighten up a little bit when they walk in the room like, they move mountains. And so you saw what happened whenever they left. It's like it felt empty. And so it's, hey, the powers that be and the people that are in the know, like, go get Frank Wilson again. Go get Corey Raymond.
Do you think it's more so Frank kind of – I know the situation's so new it's hard to tell right now. Do you think it's almost like Frank feels a little bit of disrespect, or do you think it's simply just Frank doesn't know if he's going to be here next year?
I would operate under the understanding that the staff not being set is the biggest thing in all of this. If I'm Lamar Brown or Richard Anderson and I'm hearing from Frank Wilson, don't know if he'll be here, really Richard Anderson specifically, because I think Lamar Brown, he's had his meeting with Lane Kiffin. We'll see how it continues to shake out. You don't know who your position coach is going to be. You don't really know who your defensive coordinator is going to be right now. And you also don't know if the guy that's been recruiting you is going to be there. So it's a lot changing all at once right before signing day. And so as important as it was to get Lane Kiffin in before signing day, because it was extremely important to do that, it's also a lot of change right before signing day, which can obviously, I think more so than the kid, the parents, the coaches, the agents, all of those things. I think the majority of these players are still going to be early enrollees, and so it'll still be this week. It just might not be today. Now, that has shaken up a bit throughout the night. You know, Lane Kiffin met with the Edna Carr head coach, I believe, overnight. They're trying to make the push to hold on to this because those two guys are extremely important to this era of LSU football. When you look back at the 2022 class of recruiting, there were key pieces you got in that class that were the foundation of the Brian Kelly era. Emory Jones, Harold Perkins, Mason Taylor, Will Campbell. Those 4 guys really specifically were the foundation of what you watched over the last 4 years. You have guys like that in this current class, right? Those 2 more specific than anyone else in Richard Anderson and Lamar Brown. But they're currently sitting there, they don't know who the staff is, and it's not a rush on Lane Kiffin to figure that out. But you've at least got to create the trust and the buy-in from them now to understand the process of who LSU is and what it's going to look like under Lane Kiffin. It's got to be understood that LSU is bigger than any one person. I love Frank Wilson. I think he's extremely important to recruiting the state of Louisiana. LSU is bigger than Frank Wilson. LSU was bigger than Ed Orgeron. LSU is bigger than Nick Saban. As much as he's the one that built it, LSU is bigger than all of that, right? That's what needs to be reminded to the players. LSU's bigger than Lane Kiffin. Now, he's the one steering the boat right now, flying the plane, but it's bigger than him, right? And so I think the biggest deal in all of this is the staff. And hopefully sooner rather than later, you'll know if Blake Baker's your defensive coordinator or not. What it comes down to truly is if he takes the Tulane job. If Tulane goes another direction or he doesn't take the job, he'll be LSU's defensive coordinator, and you'll see the defensive staff likely look pretty much the same, besides maybe Kyle Williams. Because Kyle Williams was kind of like an emergency plan, and I think he's realized he probably misses the life he was living before being a 24/7 college football coach.
Being a scratch golfer at Star Creek, yeah, that sounds like a lot more fun.
Right.
Like, I mean, clearly
raising your children and
right, and then he stepped in for LSU, and he was
did a great job.
He was coaching high school, and he did. I mean, I don't think anybody really had any complaints about what was happening on the defensive line. But if you look at this all in totality, don't act like y'all are new to recruiting. Like, whenever you bring in a new coach, you have shakeup potentially on your defensive staff and your recruiting staff.
Right.
What would you expect to happen? People just be like, oh, I don't care what's going on over there. I'll go commit. I don't know who my coach is. I don't know if the guy that I have a relationship with or my head coach has had a relationship with for 15 to 20 years is going to be there. Of course, I'm going to take a step back and go, I'm going to wait until January. Y'all figure it out. I'm not signing anywhere else. Nobody's flipped. It's just, I got to see what's going on. And LSU was trying to, when did you announce Lane Kiffin?
Sunday.
Monday. Sunday?
Monday was the presser, so
right.
on Sunday.
And so it's been 2 days. And how much can you expect to get really done?
Right.
As opposed to
we're spoiled.
Whenever, yeah. Well, you have a defensive head coach, a defensive coach that could very much be a head coach, and it's okay, if I'm a defensive player, let me find out what Blake Baker's going to do. I'm not just going to commit.
Right.
Then what? Who's the coach? Who's my defensive line coach? Who's my edge coach? I don't know if any of these people are going to be here. It's why would I come then? Yeah. It's totally fine for. I know people get confused because there's money involved, but it's still like a high school kid making a decision of where they want to go to college. Right. And now it gets even more complicated when you do have handlers and agents, and it's hold on, now you have people that are not letting you just go off of emotion and go, no, I want to go to LSU. It's hold on. I'm trying to give you the best advice possible, and the same thing for high school coaches. Give it a second. I know that everybody wants LSU to have early enrollees and all of these things, but lest we forget who the head coach is. And on the Frank Wilson front, I don't blame him. I don't think he's hijacking the recruiting class. I think he does want to be an on-the-field coach.
He's probably just telling the truth.
Yeah, and I think it's okay to negotiate for yourself.
Yeah. If anybody should, he should.
Yeah, I mean, and I understand that Lane Kiffin also has his allegiances.
Right.
Kevin Smith has worked with him for 9 years. And you don't just throw that out the window because everybody's like, oh, you have Frank Wilson. It's like,
I
have my guys too.
That's not why you bring Lane Kiffin in.
Right.
You don't bring him in, and that was why I always called it pie in the sky, to hold on to everybody, right? To be able to keep Frank and Blake and Corey and Austin, and to be able to keep all that, it's pie in the sky because a coach brings in his guys. We do have 2 announcements right now as we'll continue to update live, and I appreciate everyone in the chat updating live as well on signing day as LSU has their first 2 signees of the day. Jabari Mack, Destrehan wide receiver, has signed with the Tigers. He was the first signee of the day. And then...
Good right hook on him.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah. He punched a kid at Catholic. I don't know how he didn't get thrown out.
He also had, like a 100-yard pick six in that game?
And he had a I guess a deep ball thrown to him. I can't really remember.
And then the second one is a huge one because this was Texas making a late push trying to flip Bryson Martinez from LSU, but the Tigers hold on and he signs with LSU. This guy is a 4-star offensive tackle out of East Ascension and is an absolute monster. I've told the story many times. Coaching basketball last season, Central High School played East Ascension in the quarterfinals, and he took a rebound off the rim, the quarterfinal, a rebound off the rim on one end, all the way up the floor, dunked it on the other end.
Offensive lineman.
An offensive lineman. And then this season at EA, Central and EA played football against one another in the second round of the playoffs, and he had like a receiving touchdown, a passing touchdown, a rushing touchdown, a 2-point. He played every single position on offense. He might be one of the best athletes in the country, just committed to the Tigers. So that is 2 big commitments this morning. So Jabari Mack, 2 claps, ready. Bryson Martinez, 2 claps, ready. 2 new Tigers to the class have been signed this morning. We'll continue to keep you updated throughout signing day today. But yeah, no, I agree. I think the biggest thing is just this the unsureness, the uncertainty around the staff. And I think sitting down with Lane Kiffin is the most important thing that can be done for coaches or agents. The players can't sit down with him, right? Because the dead period started on Monday. But for coaches and for agents and for whoever can communicate with the coach, this is the time, right? You have to bring the trust in what can and will be done under your tutelage at LSU, right? That is where it currently stands. Because if you are an LSU fan, I'm not going to tell you what to do and say, hey, you need to sit back and be perfectly fine with whatever Lane Kiffin does. I'm not the boss. If you're upset about something, you can feel however you want to feel. But the reason Lane Kiffin was hired as head coach was because what was currently going on was not good enough. It wasn't up to par. You went 7-5. Right? And so whatever Lane Kiffin decides to do, and I know, like I said, it can feel a little 2022-ish with BK and wiping out the staff. I already think it's different because you've seen Lane Kiffin sit down with Blake Baker and say, hey, we'll retain you. Depends what he chooses to do. But what Lane Kiffin decides to do, he's the one in charge of the program right now. And so it's going to be very interesting to see how the staff continues to shake up. Today is a big day. It is. Now, LSU doesn't have this massive class signed. There are some pillars in the class. Richard Anderson, Lamar Brown, obviously the 2 5-stars, are huge pieces to what Lane Kiffin can do at LSU, right? And it's similar to, like I said, like Emory Jones, Mason Taylor, Harold Perkins, Will Campbell in 2022, those guys were pillars, the foundation of the Brian Kelly era, right? I mean, just look at how big the roles they played as freshmen. Those 4 players
were your best players.
Were 4 of your best 5 players as a freshman outside of Jaden Daniels, right? You look at some of the biggest plays that season. You had true freshmen starting as bookends at the tackle spots. Mason Taylor caught the game-winning 2-point conversion and had a touchdown against Alabama, and Harold Perkins won you a game against Arkansas by himself. So there are guys that are going to be pillars and foundational pieces to the Lane Kiffin era. Those 2 are the most obvious in Lamar Brown and Richard Anderson. I think Finney, the cornerback, is right there with it. You have seen some shakeup at the wide receiver position in the recruiting class under Kiffin, with Kenny Darby being processed, and he will look to sign elsewhere. The North Louisiana native wide receiver. Personally, I'm a big fan of Kenny Darby. I wanted him to be an LSU Tiger, but it's Lane Kiffin's ship.
Great name.
He's making $13 million. I'm not. Right? So I'm not choosing who's going to be a wide receiver for Lane Kiffin. I will sit back and I'll trust everything Lane decides to do on the offensive side of the ball. He has done more than enough to earn the respect there, right?
Right. And I guess, what is Lane's reputation? It's not recruiting, right? It's the other one.
He's an on the field. Oh, the
right.
transfer
Well,
board.
also, yeah. I mean, obviously, play calling is his forte, and offense. It's what got everybody so excited about him coming here. Was well, if you know you get one thing, you get Lane Kiffin, you get Lane Kiffin's offense, and you get Lane Kiffin. What else? Lane Kiffin's gonna find you a quarterback, and I think you'd be hard pressed to say that Lane Kiffin doesn't know what his offense requires, and that's what's happening right now. He's getting the pieces that he thinks fits his offense best. If he doesn't think it's Kenny Darby, then he's not going to take Kenny Darby.
Right.
But he's going to go find the skill position players he needs for his offense for it to execute and work at a high level. That's where you have to trust him in that regard. I think the Frank Wilson thing has thrown people off a little bit. Then it became, we have to keep Corey. When has that been a conversation? Like that nobody is like, it's all just this Twitter sphere of people just throwing out conjectured ideas about, oh, it's this, it's this, it's this. Like, nobody's said anything. Like, sure, is Frank Wilson wanting to negotiate for a on-the-field job? That does make sense. And he has every right to do so. Because if he feels like he's been disrespected because he was in a spot of need, he stepped up and helped LSU, and now it's, you can go to be an analyst. It's like, I mean, I don't have any negotiating weight here. I don't have any respect for what I just did, and if I'm not going to be heard, like, that would piss me off too. But let's let cooler heads prevail here. But when it comes to Lane, it's not so much I think the prospect that got everybody excited was Lane Kiffin in the portal, LSU's ability to recruit. You put both pieces of that pie together, and you go, he'll have talent everywhere, and then it becomes this machine, right, where he can plug and play on the portal. You can have development on the high school side. It's like, this is how you build a monster. And for LSU right now, I think people are a little bit on the panicky side because your two biggest targets have said, whoa, we were going to sign early, now we're not. We're going to look at it. And that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be something that they don't sign today.
Right.
Something could be established. You have all day.
Yeah.
And then you have all the way until January. It would be different if you were looking at this and you look up and you see Lamar Brown at Oregon.
Right. And Sam Spiegelman put it out this morning, right before we got on air. He had a quote on 3 on Rivals on 3, same thing. The agents for 5-star defensive lineman Lamar Brown and Richard Anderson met with members of the LSU staff, including Lane Kiffin, Billy Glasscock, and Blake Baker, for close to 4 hours on Tuesday night. In the aftermath of those conversations, the arrow was tilted up for Anderson to potentially sign with LSU. A final decision will be made this morning. Brown's representation is set to meet with LSU again on Wednesday morning. There is a very good likelihood both are signed before the end of this week. So both those guys are going to be early enrollees, right? And so it's just the push of getting them to sign with LSU prior to being, or they're going to sign this week, right? They're going to be early enrollees. So they're going to figure out their school this week. You're not going to have to wait until signing day. And this is a good note for LSU that the agents met with Kiffin, Glasscock, Baker for 4 hours Tuesday night, and the arrow was tilted up for Anderson to potentially sign with LSU. The final decision will be made this morning, so today, and then Brown's representation is meeting with LSU again today, and so we'll obviously continue to keep that updated there. So those are the two that are kind of on edge. I think outside of those two, it's everybody else. You know, everyone else is set to sign. I think Cooley, the offensive lineman, I believe, has been shifted. He will probably flip. I believe it was Alabama that he'll flip to. And I think there are some still you're going to wait to see who LSU flips this way. You get one last night, officially the commitment flip from the LCA wide receiver Anderson last night as he flips his commitment to LSU after decommitting from Oklahoma. I think the first night Lane was here. He met with Lane Sunday night. He decommitted from Oklahoma Sunday night and flipped to LSU. Braden Allen, 4-star wide receiver out of LCA, committed to LSU. So big commitment there. Obviously, that's part of the change. You see an LCA wide receiver that was committed to Oklahoma not coming to LSU, and you see Kenny Darby, a guy that had shut down his recruitment with LSU. He gets processed. They take in out. You're going to see these things change. Lane Kiffin's going to recruit his guys. He said it in the press conference. He's not just going to sign players to sign them. He's not just going to sign the class that was already, committed. He's going to reevaluate. He's going to look at LSU's class. He's going to go look at his class at Ole Miss. He's going to also look at his roster at Ole Miss. Lloyd, you started to point towards it. That's going to be the biggest cycle in all of this, right? This whole first offseason, the transfer portal is going to be really more of a focus than this current commitment cycle. Even like when you look back at 2022, I'll use that as an example again because we just kind of lived through a coaching change. As much as you brought in some foundational pieces in that 2022 class, those 4 to be specific, the reason you made the SEC championship in 2022 was because of what?
You brought in
the transfer portal.
Mm-hmm.
You went and you got Mekhi Garner, and you went and got Jarek Bernard-Converse and Jaden Daniels.
Jaden Daniels would be a big one.
You brought in these transfer portal pieces.
Noah Kane.
Right, Miles Frazier. Right,
Kyron Lacey.
You went and got key pieces of your team. Greg Brooks, Joe Fouché. Go down the list of players you brought in out of the transfer portal. Great, that's going to be the biggest part in all this because that's who Lane is. That's who he's been at Ole Miss consistently. That's how he's built the last 2 rosters he's had, is through the portal. And so it'll be interesting to see how it continues to shake out today on the recruiting front as LSU will continue to have their signees announced. I'll continue to keep it refreshing so that I can keep everyone updated. It's still Bryson Martinez, the last one to sign. But it's a big day. But really, the biggest window for Lane Kiffin and for LSU is going to be the transfer portal window. But you want to really bring those foundational pieces in, and it starts with those 2 5-stars. That news from Spiegelman that it's pointing in a better direction is big, big news, and we'll see kind of where they end up today. I'll ask you this, Lloyd. When you heard in that quote from Spiegelman that the meeting last night included Lane Kiffin, Billy Glasscock, and Blake Baker, what was your first reaction to those 3 names being the names that were part of the meeting?
I think if you're reading the tea leaves, you would hope that the Blake Baker situation means that he's coming back, right?
Right.
If it was a meeting in which it feels like things went positively, then Blake Baker's in that meeting because he's telling you, I'm going to come back and be the defensive coordinator.
Right.
Between one person and not one person, between Billy Glasscock and no Austin Thomas in the meeting, tells me that it feels like there's going to be a changing of the guard.
Right.
While LSU wanted to keep, or LSU contingency and the fan base is all like, you have to keep what? Austin Thomas, Corey Raymond, Frank Wilson. Lane was given full autonomy to work and do this job as he sees fit. And that's why he didn't go to Florida. That's why he didn't stay at Ole Miss. He talked about it in the press conference where he said, well, what was the conversation like with Verge whenever you felt like you wanted the LSU job or it was yours? Because Verge said, go run, coach. That's it. Do whatever you need to do. We'll give you all the resources necessary for you to be successful here. Good. That's all I need to hear. It wasn't, hey, take a meeting with the Florida athletic director, and he's like, you know what you have to do when you get here, right? Like, I have a general manager lined up for you that's in the NFL. He's like, I don't know who that is. I don't want him on my staff. Well, this is off to not a great start. And so ultimately that's what really led to him starting to, I don't know if I really want this job because it's Florida doing what Florida does the best, put its nose in places where it doesn't belong.
Right.
Like, you don't need the power players at B going, this is how you should coach the team. It's like, why do you think you need another coach? Obviously, what you did last time didn't work, and the time before that didn't work, and the time before that didn't work. And when it did work, you fired him because you felt like it wasn't good enough. So y'all should probably sit this one out, right? Like, do we need to hear from you? I don't think so. And then you have a school that's a better job with more autonomy and says, go do it how you want to do it. And that's why we're hiring you. It's like, okay, that's a much easier decision. Now, this is the hard part. If he wants to make changes, this is when you make changes. And once Billy Glasscock got on that plane, I felt like Austin Thomas's days were numbered. He wants to bring in his own people. He's going to bring in his own people.
100%.
And that's where you have to have, like they said, like, you're either, look, I know that people are, like you said, are a little bit, I guess, have a little bit of angst because of what just happened. And Brian Kelly went and brought in his own people. And it was like, this is a mistake. Lane Kiffin's a little bit younger, probably knows the landscape a little bit more, and he wants to coach. He wants to do the job.
Right.
And so he's going to do it what he thinks is the best way to do it for him and for LSU. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter really, especially for Lane. It doesn't matter what polo he's got on. He's got a process, and the way that he does it works. And so that's what you have to, at this point, you have to ride with your head coach for what he's going to, the decision he's going to make. But that's what it told me is that Glasscock is now, you're probably going to be LSU's general manager.
Yeah, that's your GM. A third signee through the news wire today, Corey Barber Jr. will sign with LSU. He decommitted from Ole Miss on, what day was that? Monday, I believe? Sunday or Monday. I think it was Monday. Right after, obviously Lane Kiffin left Ole Miss, came to LSU. Corey Barber, 4-star wide receiver out of Pinson, Alabama, decommitted from Ole Miss, and then he just had his paperwork come through, and he is officially an LSU Tiger, announced by LSU just a little over 3 minutes ago. He is a 6 foot, 185 wide receiver out of Pinson, Alabama. His primary recruiter and his secondary recruiter were George McDonald and Charlie Weiss Jr., right? And both of those guys are now on LSU staff. So another wide receiver brought in. That will be 2 out of the 3 signees this morning. Being on the offensive side of the ball at the wide receiver position. Corey Barber Jr. Is a name to get familiar with, as we didn't really know much about him prior. Bring in Lane Kiffin, and here you go. So, but yeah, I think Billy Glasscock is your general manager. That will be the way that works, and so we'll find out what that means for Austin Thomas. He won't be GM. Will he be kept somewhere in the front office in another position? Will he be brought into administration? Or will he just kind of move on and find another spot? We shall find out.
I would imagine that they have worked together before. I would imagine that you would want to keep Austin Thomas, and if it's a promoted role, right? If it's somewhere in the athletics department or as like a, something of that regard where you're still involved with athletics or you're still like maybe just football focused, but it's not general manager, I could see that as well. I just don't see him being as maybe in the same role he was last year.
Right.
I think that's why you brought Glasscock along. He wants to have some of his people in place, and I think that's fair. Or you have to at least give it the opportunity. You can't judge a book before it's been read. Right. But I do know what works here. That's where I'm conflicted, because I do like to have Corey Raymond and Austin Thomas and Frank Wilson, because I know that it works. And I see what Hollingsworth is saying. It's like, Frank Wilson's never won a national championship. He sure did lay the identity for a bunch of them.
Yeah, no, I mean, he's what he can recruit can't be understated. It's more than just running backs. I know he's a running backs coach, and the running back recruiting has been underwhelming because of some decision making, right, on the running backs front. Trey Holly, obviously, that whole legal process and everything. He ends up at Southern. JT Lindsey, obviously, an in-state guy that also has some legal troubles and ends up out of the mix. So that's two in-state guys, but you do have Caden Durham that wasn't identified, and Arlen Berry who went and identified. That's all played a factor in kind of how that room has shaken out, but it's bigger than just that. A guy like Richard Anderson, a guy like Lamar Brown, Keelan Moses. You can go down the list of guys that have been recruited. Harold Perkins is a Frank Wilson guy, It's very he can't be understated, his importance, that's for sure. we'll continue to track where some of the announcements continue to come in on early signing day. The early signing period, this is essentially National Signing Day. I did see someone in the chat say Blaine Bradford, let's see, had officially signed his paperwork, so I will double check that real quick. Let's see, Ohio State football. Does suck to see that one happen, but it's okay. Nobody's, let's see if I can find Blaine Bradford. Yep, Blaine Bradford is an Ohio State Buckeye, the Catholic High safety.
So what do they do? Get to school and just sign immediately?
What do you mean?
Like, where are they signing? Are they doing this at school? Is this like a public thing, or are they just like kind of?
I mean, you send the paperwork in. You can do a signing in front of your whole school, but
But are they not? Like,
I mean, a lot of them don't.
Okay.
Some of them do, and some of them do it later on. Like you do the paperwork and the whole deal, then you have a celebration later on during school.
Yeah, I think gone are the days of the real picking up the hat.
Yeah, like
for
I would like
everyone.
to see Blaine, obviously not pick Ohio State, but Blaine at Catholic High. Like, obviously you want to see
I don't think-
Ohio State, LSU, and then the third school.
Right.
I don't
Why
think
not?
if he was been committed to Ohio State for as long as he has, he's not going to pick LSU. He's like, it's a big celebration for me leaving.
Right.
Well, I know, but like,
like, sure, I'm happy for him. Like, he's earned that right to be able to go to Ohio State if that's what he wants to do.
I mean,
but
Jakeem Stewart was kind of the same way. Like, picked USC at Carr. Like, dude, what are you doing?
yeah,
I mean, he had a good season actually, but we'll see.
I think an
needs
interesting
to come
piece
back.
to obviously pay attention to is going to be Aiden Hall. He's the other Edna Carr Cougar that is committed in this class.
Bring Thanos back.
And it'll play a part of, like, you just look at that, you say, okay, well, obviously the Edna Carr relationship is not in a bad place because the relationship between the head coach of Carr and Lane Kiffin, obviously, they've made a connection for one of those guys to sign paperwork. We do have another signee today, the flip, Braden Allen from Oklahoma to LSU, just happened yesterday, and he has his paperwork sent in. He is signed with LSU this morning. Braden Allen, the LCA wide receiver, has put his paperwork in and will be an LSU Tiger. So there's another signee this morning. I'm just updating the Twitter. That's how I'm staying up to date. Yeah, there probably are other ways. I'm just updating LSU football's Twitter. And as of right now, there are 4 signees, 3 of them being wide receivers. And they're all in-state, or 2 in-state wide receivers. 1, Corey Barber, not in-state, from Alabama. So a big day for LSU as it is National Signing Day. What time do we have Jacques this morning?
8:30.
8:30 a.m. Jacques Doucet from WAFB, the sports director over there, will join us to talk some LSU football under the leadership of Lane Kiffin as he has begun his era.
We did have Bryce Kuhn lined up for 8, but he's been put on dad duty to bring his daughter to school.
It's a big day. It's a big day for all the people in recruiting. This is a day where your heart really goes out to them, and the fact that they're going to.
I'm sure he wants to bring his daughter to school.
Yeah, it would be a nice break.
Mm-hmm.
I know the feeling.
Bringing your daughter to school?
Yeah.
Sure you do. I will do this before we get to the 8 o'clock hour.
Brought my sisters to school in high school.
I'm going to toss
Nice.
this bag right here over to Christian Cowley, and he's going to open it up live on camera here this morning.
This is your recruiting announcement.
There's your.
What school are you going to pick
Go ahead and just rip
in that
thing
bag
up. Rip that
for the
thing up.
next 3 to 4 years?
For the next 3 to 4 years,
Hold on.
I will be taking my talents to.
The University of.
In the next 6 or 7 years,
Oh.
I'll be taking my talents to Shrink University. Bring my
Flip
boy.
that thing.
There we go.
Yeah.
There it
Let me
is.
try this thing on.
There it is. Pop that jersey on there, Chrissy. Free my boy. There you go.
Huge announcement.
No. Put it on the other way. Put the back of the jersey on the front. That thing is massive.
Hell yeah.
Turn around. Show the camera.
Free my
Let him see the back
boy.
of it. Let him see the back. Let him see. There you go. There it is. Yeah, flip it around. Flip it around. Put that thing on.
That's right. Shout out to the chat. This is our first NIL
Shout out
deal.
to the chat. First NIL deal with the Tingle Co chat. The Free My Boy jersey has officially made its way in. We will do a live watch party at Golf Suites for the LSU Bowl game, and you are all invited to come and sign the front of this jersey, as it says "Free My Boy"
Or the back.
Check him out.
Because I think that's probably what would be featured more.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what he did. Look, dude, grab your undershirt.
There you go. Free my boy. Appreciate everybody in the chat. The jersey is here.
We did it.
We pulled it off. Tell you what, shout out to Fanatics. Jersey got here quick. I mean, it's a fast turnaround.
It's a personalized custom jersey.
I know. Yeah, that thing ready to rock and roll. But as signing day continues on this morning, I wanted to bring that jersey out.
Might be a little crusty by the time everybody signs it. Lloyd,
free my boy.
I'm trying to train on this thing.
Wes Shen, we have to send it to Lane.
We'll try to get it signed by everyone that we can get it signed by.
Kinzel, Brian,
I
Lane.
mean, Roe wants Kinzel to sign it. Roe was pushing hard for Kinzel to be on the show, so we'll see if that gets pulled off. But we'll continue to refresh the signing day feed this morning. I do want to say, on the Blake Baker front, regardless of with him being a part of the meeting, one thing I'll use as reference is the way he recruited Harold Perkins, right? He was a key part of getting Harold Perkins to LSU, even though Blake Baker was not retained. He was a mouthpiece and was very vocal about how LSU can play a role in Harold Perkins' life and was a key part of how Perk got to Baton Rouge, even though Blake Baker himself ended up in Columbia, Missouri, right? And so I do think, regardless of if Blake takes the job or not, him being in the meeting last night, it pointing in a good direction is because Blake is going to speak highly about LSU regardless of what ends up shaking out with Tulane or if he does stay with LSU. I would obviously like to sit here and say that means he's going to be back. I don't know. It comes down to if Tulane snags Blake or not. But I know that Blake Baker is going to speak highly of LSU regardless. You can just look back to 2022 to remember that when Brian Kelly was brought in. Blake was not retained, but he still played a huge, huge role in getting Harold Perkins, one of those key class of 2022 commits, to Baton Rouge. So we'll continue to see how it shakes out today. There are a few pieces. I think one of the other interesting ones is Finney, Havon Finney, the cornerback. He obviously is extremely tied to Corey Raymond. And so there are some tea leaves to read through. I think if you sit back and you see, a player like Finney sign with LSU, I think that would kind of lead you to believe that Corey Raymond will be the cornerbacks coach, But we'll see how it continues to shake out this morning.
Havon Finney?
Havon.
Finney.
Finney.
He's going to be a stud.
You like that? That's a good name?
Great name. Finney? Dude.
It's a good name.
That's how you do your recruiting analysis?
Yep.
Stud.
Sounds like a player.
So, I don't hate it.
It does work.
Sounds like a player.
I mean, yeah.
Seville, the best thing Kinzel could do is come sign the jersey and become a lifelong LSU guy. He would be legendary. The national media would eat that up.
He would hate me.
You think so?
Yeah. Well, I would just pick on him the whole time. He just wouldn't.
You would pick on him the whole time?
I think Lloyd would too.
Who?
If Kinzel came.
Oh, yeah. It would be tough to like.
But I will say...
You'd have to win me over.
Yeah, that's for sure.
He'd have to eat it on the chin. He'd have to wear it for me.
I do want to ask everyone's thoughts in the chat and in the room about the Charlie Weiss announcement yesterday, that he will be allowed to coach Ole Miss through the college football playoff in the postseason. He will be the offensive coordinator for the Rebels, even though he is going to be LSU's OC. He's being allowed by Lane Kiffin to go back and allowed by Ole Miss to be back to coach in the
he's going to be back at LSU, though.
the college football playoff. Yeah.
Okay.
He came over with Lane Kiffin.
I would say F Ole Miss, but I think this is honestly a play to get some of the guys over from Ole Miss to LSU.
Well, is that not the more interesting part of this? Is
I think that's really the play here.
If you wouldn't let Lane back in the door, but you'll let Weiss back in the door because you looked around and go, who's going to call the plays?
Yeah.
And LSU, there's two parts of this for me. As I was very excited to see what Ole Miss is going to look like without Lane Kiffin and Charlie Weiss, and possibly they're not their receivers coach, not their strength and conditioning coach, not possibly their running backs coach. Like, that would have been an interesting dynamic to see if they would even, like, what would that look like in a college football playoff game at home. And the way that they've been, I don't have a very much of a soft spot for Ole Miss at the moment.
No.
So I was ready to see what that would look like if you got blown out at home in your first and ever and only college football playoff home game. And it's like, this was, are we sure that we're happy Lane's gone?
Right.
But the other part of this is, I do wonder if there is a pitch to maybe retain him as offensive coordinator. Like, why would Charlie Weiss want to go back? Unless it's a deep state, I want to go evaluate.
I think that's what Ole Miss is thinking they can do. But I think Lane kind of already knows, like, I'm sending him back over to Poach. I'm not sending him over there because I want him to call plays and want to help Ole Miss. At this point, it's F Ole Miss.
He's walking into a lion's den, right? Or are they happy that he's coming back for a game?
No,
Right.
No.
If the
Ole Miss
plays are
is
bad.
happy Weiss is coming back.
Yeah, but
because they had no chance without him. Like, genuinely, without the offensive play calling, I'm not gonna say they had no chance.
Well,
But the likelihood of them winning went up drastically with the fact that their play caller's coming.
yeah, you have somebody with
Weiss is
some
back.
semblance of knowledge
Right.
of the playbook.
Yeah, Pete Carmichael's coming
But
back.
I do think it's a very interesting dynamic of this guy coming. It's basically everything you said that was wrong, and I know that head coach is different than assistant coach. There's levels to it, but still, everything that was wrong with Lane coaching it out at Ole Miss, does it not apply to the offensive coordinator coming back, right? And I definitely think there will be the sense of the conversations about transfer. Lane is going to go back and get guys from the Ole Miss roster regardless, whether Weiss went back and coached it or not. The offensive guys on Ole Miss's roster committed to Lane Kiffin and Charlie Weiss Jr., right? Now, the defensive guys, that's a different conversation. If Golding is there as the head coach, they committed to Golding as DC. He's now the head coach. Of course, they're going to be. But there were going to be offensive guys that followed Kiffin regardless. Now, we'll see what happens now that Weiss is there. But I really think more so it's just I think both of them wanted to coach it through, right? Like, I think both Kiffin and Weiss wanted to coach this team through because it's been their team all year. And although they have taken the job promotion of going to LSU, they still want to finish this thing out. Weiss is just the only one that's allowed to do so. So I don't know if it's going to be this major push by Ole Miss. I'm sure there's going to be a push from Ole Miss to try to keep him. But I think that more than anything, from LSU's standpoint, maybe there's some, behind the scenes, being a spy and trying to bring guys with you. I think it's just, I'm going to go finish this thing out.
It's just such a messy operation if you're Ole Miss, because if you do, or now what you're doing and bringing Weiss back,
right
after you, certainly sent him off in a fashion that wouldn't really make me want to come back. But
F you, Charlie.
Right. Oh, no! But if you do go and coach and win, and he
Right.
coaches again, like, you'll see it through the college football playoff. But that's the irony into all of this is I don't see – what's the difference between why not let Lane do it?
I agree. That's my point exactly. You're making yourself, if you're Ole Miss, if you're Keith Carter, if you whoever – it is so hypocritical, right? To handle this with Lane where he can't do it. And look, I'm not advocating for Lane Kiffin to coach it. I'm glad he's here in Baton Rouge. But if you're going to sit there and you're going to set the precedent, right, that if you're going to be a coach at another program, a rival program in the conference, you can't be in this building, right? That's the precedent that was set. But we're not following suit with the offensive coordinator. And I understand there are levels. But Charlie Weiss Jr. got on the plane to Baton Rouge.
Signed
and has a term sheet with LSU. But he is welcomed back in. Ole Miss has just continued to look bad in this situation. And this is where I get a little annoyed with this entire day. I don't want to become a Kiffin apologist.
Right.
Lane Kiffin is Lane Kiffin. We know how he's got 5 of the ugliest exits in the sport, right? with the Raiders and the way that went down, and then with Tennessee and the way that went down, then USC, the way that ended, and then Alabama, the way that ended, and now Ole Miss. He's had some ugly exits, right? I'm not going to defend that. That's the case. But if you look at this in situation, and I've seen the national pundits, and we turned on, what was it, NFL on CBS yesterday, and we were watching it, and the entire table, besides Matt Ryan, credit to Matty Ice, for actually talking about what the issue is, and not just clamoring on Lane Kiffin for his decision-making process. This entire situation was created by Ole Miss. If you really sit back and you take the emotion out of it, how many times have coaches taken a job promotion after the season, but probably had the deal done during the year, right? You know, like coaches coach their teams through, but leave all the time. The only reason it didn't play out in that manner with Lane Kiffin was because of Ole Miss. They could not allow it to go that way. The media pressed Lane to make an answer, right? Are you staying or are you leaving? He didn't answer it. Why would he answer it? He's leaving. So he's not going to say that. He's not going to sit on the microphone at a presser and go, well, guys, you know, since y'all are asking me now at this press conference in the middle of our season, before we play Oklahoma and before we play Florida, I'm going to say I'm leaving. He's not going to do that.
That's not never asked.
That's not how it works, right? And I get that they asked, but then for Ole Miss to hear that and say, well, guess what? We need an answer. When the whole time you promoted your defensive coordinator. If you wanted to let this play out, the reason you put your foot down was to get in the head coaching search, to get in the carousel, to not miss out on a guy like John Summerall. Well, you did. He ended up at Florida, and now you are promoting Pete Golding. And if you're going to say that was your decision the whole time, then why not just let Lane coach it through, right? Ole Miss has created the mess of all of this. And I get it. If I was going to put myself in Ole Miss fans' shoes, I would be upset with Lane as well. I was upset with Saban when he came back to Alabama, right? Of course you're upset. That's your guy that you just won a championship with coming back to coach a team that's in the same division as you. It sucks, right? I get it. But for it to be this all-out attack on Lane Kiffin through the national media, especially when half of them don't understand what's going on and are blaming the coach for taking a better job. All Lane Kiffin did was take a better job. He got a job promotion and took it. He went somewhere where he had a better opportunity to win a national championship. And I know you can say, look, he's got a chance to win it right now with Ole Miss. Yeah, I mean, technically he does. There's no precedent at Ole Miss to win national championships, right? There's a blueprint at LSU to go and win. And so many times coaches take a better job after the season. You've seen it happen countless times. People take a job promotion. The reason it had to be announced before the playoff run was because Ole Miss said, hey, I'll let you coach the Egg Bowl, but you got to let us know right after what your decision is. Ole Miss set that timeline. Ole Miss set the timeline. Lane Kiffin didn't. What Lane Kiffin wanted to do was coach his team through, try and win a championship, and when it was all said and done, take the LSU job. And would that timeline have worked well for LSU? Maybe not, But LSU was willing to let him coach it through. But Lane Kiffin is the villain in all this, and I get it. But, I mean, if you really are going to go out there on national television and bash this situation, at least understand what happened. Understand that Ole Miss, Keith Carter, is the one that screwed the whole thing up from the jump. Ole Miss was too big for their britches and set an ultimatum, right? Way back when, it was before the Florida game, set an ultimatum on Lane Kiffin of, we need a decision. Now, they ended up backtracking off that, but then they set the timeline for after Ole Miss set the timeline.
Right, and to pivot off of all of this, and it's funny to see how, I guess, the perspective of Lane Kiffin from the national media, where this is the soup du jour, the topic of the day,
right?
That the Lane Kiffin is leaving Ole Miss and left his team because they were going to go to the playoffs and you have to see it through. And you had Bill Cowher on there saying, you committed to this guy for 4 years and now he's going to leave you at the altar. It's like, Bill Cowher, do yourself a favor, take a breath, and go look at Ole Miss's roster and see how many 4-year players they have on there.
Right.
You don't understand.
He's been coaching for 4 seasons.
You don't. You committed to him, and he committed to you, and it's a 4-year process. It's a lifetime. It's like, Bill, have you been under a rock? Like, that's not how college football operates anymore. You think Trinidad Chambliss was coming to Ole Miss 3 years ago? He hasn't been there and, like, committed to Lane Kiffin since he was in high school. He came from a D2 school.
Right.
Like, Lane Kiffin has been getting these guys from the transfer portal and paying them. That's how it works. So, yes, he does have the right to leave, but it's also, why don't you look at the entire situation and how it played out instead of just jumping on the easiest narrative that's out there that everybody is saying the same thing. It's like, how could you leave? Did you not hear that he wanted to stay and that he was forced out by Ole Miss and it's their fault? No, it's Lane Kiffin because you're in the middle of a playoff run and you can't go and you can't take a job. Like, yes, I can, but also I wanted to coach. So you can't. What are you mad at me for?
Right.
Whenever I didn't ultimately make the decision that I wanted to make. But but it's easy to go, Lane Kiffin's the bad guy. There's not one person out there in the national media that's going, Lane Kiffin made the right decision and it's Ole Miss's fault. It's the exact opposite because it's the easy thing to do to blame Lane Kiffin because of his history and how he's left and jumped from job to job. And like you said, his sordid history of being fired and how it's always happened. But if Ole Miss was 8-4, would you be mad? No, nobody would give a shit.
You wouldn't care.
But because he got you to the point of being in the college football playoff and you're the one that had the ultimatum and you got upset and you almost put the result of the Egg Bowl in front of the college football playoff. Like, that was more important to you because you've yet to learn how to shift your thinking into being a power program. That's always been the most important game to you. And you let that dictate how you were going to move going forward with Lane Kiffin with or without him. But it's like, well, it's just got to be the Egg Bowl and then get him out of here. Okay, what if you go to the SEC championship? I don't know. We'll get to little Charlie Weissel. There was no world in which, if you thought you were going to hire Pete Golding to be your head coach, that you wouldn't have kept Lane Kiffin. They overreacted.
They did.
They have played this thing. It's so obvious when you look at it through just non-judgmental lenses.
No emotion.
You're right. Take it all out and just be like, well, if you're going to hire Pete Golding, why wouldn't you have kept Lane Kiffin? If you already had your guy, no, you fired him, and who are we going to get? And then you see 5 staffers hop on a plane. It's like, maybe Charlie Weiss is going to gone. You think, who's still here? Pete. Name of the head coach. We have to have a head coach for the college football playoff. Okay, you're the guy. You're the only guy still here.
Right.
And now you have to double back and go, can we have him for a game?
Well, and I also think when you look at, I'll compare John Summerall and Lane Kiffin in this situation. The reason Summerall is not getting any of this is, 1, because he's Summerall and he's not Lane, is 2, because Tulane to Florida is viewed and widely accepted as a job promotion, right?
Sure.
Going from Tulane to Florida is a promotion. You're going from the American Conference to the SEC, right? What people are missing is that Ole Miss to LSU is a job promotion. I get that it's in the same conference and they were offering similar contracts. It's a job promotion because it's a step up. You're going from a place that doesn't win championships to a place that does. You're walking through a facility with not that many trophies to a facility with a bunch of them, right? The exact same situation is playing out where in the American Conference Championship game, media days, John Summerall is wearing a blue suit with an orange tie. He's Florida's head coach. He's already had a presser, but he's coaching Tulane. And he's not a bad guy because he's just taking a better job.
He was in the signing day video today. If you go look at the signing video.
Right.
Yeah,
You got to accept that LSU is a promotion from Ole Miss because it is. It is. And I get it. If you want to look back in the NIL era, starting in 2022, Ole Miss has beaten LSU. I mean, really, if we're going to start back in 2022 in the NIL era, LSU won, Ole Miss won, LSU won, Ole Miss won. They're 2-2.
Yeah, and Tulane beat USC. Tulane's in the playoff, Florida isn't. But what's the promotion?
It's a job promotion. I get that Ole Miss has put together some really good rosters over the last 4 seasons and has had some pretty good seasons. They've been winning 10 wins, and they're on a playoff run. Is that Ole Miss? Or is it Lane Kiffin? But like we said, if LSU needs to be the villain, let them. And I don't get how LSU's catching any flack in any of this. All LSU did was identify a coach and go hire him. And allow him to coach it through. Ole Miss has done nothing but hire a coach. Don't forget, every single day we are brought to you by All About Inflatables. AllAboutInflatablesDS.com is the website. Type that in, and you'll see the big red button that says Book Now in the top right corner. But it is getting cold outside. Very, very cold outside. And so that means it might not be the best time for a water slide from All About Inflatables. That's why the guys at All About are starting All About Holiday Lighting. They've got All About Holiday Lighting rocking and rolling. Go check them out on Facebook and Instagram. You'll see some videos of some of the work they've done. Excellent, excellent work at All About Holiday Lighting. The phone number is 225-276-0608. But I recommend just go to allaboutholidaylighting.com because I know there are a lot of neighborhoods that have HOAs that require Christmas lights on your house. Or if you just want to have the job done but no stress, right? Not worrying about hopping up on a ladder or getting on your own roof and putting lights on. You want it to look professionally done. Go to allaboutholidaylighting.com and get a free estimate and get some lights on your house so you can look good during the holiday season. We'll take a quick break here as we've rolled right in to hour number 2 this morning. Before we do that, we'll update the latest signees for LSU football as Des Ellis, cornerback, has signed and is officially a Tiger. So we'll take a quick break. We'll be right back with more Tingle Co right after this.
When it comes to your home, the roof over your head matters. At CAS Roofing, we don't just install shingles, we build peace of mind. With years of experience and a commitment to craftsmanship, our team shows up on time, gets the job done right, and treats every project like it's our own home. Whether it's repair, a replacement, or storm damage that caught you off guard, CAS Roofing is ready. We're local, we're dependable, and we stand behind every nail, every shingle, and every promise we make. Because at the end of the day, it's not just about roofing, it's about protecting what matters most. CAS Roofing, built on trust, backed by quality.
Wardos was created in honor of Alan Ward Branning III, fondly known by family and friends as Wardo. In 2019, the oldest brother of the tribe passed away unexpectedly. His remaining siblings and loved ones wanted to honor his memory in a special way. In 2022, Ward's family decided to combine the need for a sandwich shop in downtown Natchez with a desire to pay tribute to Ward's love of good friends, good times, and great food. Through blood, sweat, tears, and countless hours of hard work, Wardo's was born. So go visit Wardo's today at 309 North Broadway Street in Natchez, where the po' boys are so good, you'll swear you're in Cajun country.
Hey, Miss Lou, come visit us, Tom and Wright Granning at Go Martin on the Go Deli.
Gomart has clean restrooms, community coffee, an awesome beer cave, and a great selection of anything you may need.
Located at the corner of Highland Boulevard and Highway 61 South in Natchez.
Also stop by Wardo's Po' Boys at 309 North Broadway on the beautiful Natchez Bluff.
Where everyone is family.
All right, welcome back here to hour number 2 here on this Wednesday morning, this early signing period, National Signing Day episode of Tingle Co. The first National Signing Day here at Tingle Co. We appreciate everybody getting in here with us on this Wednesday morning. We do have another signee during the break. Aiden Hall, safety from Edna Carr, is officially an LSU Tiger, which is obviously a really, really good sign between maybe some of the shakiness between Carr and LSU throughout the coaching change. This is a good step for LSU as the second defensive commitment of the day with cornerback Des Ellis, now safety Aiden Hall, who is a dog. On that Carr defense. That Carr defense could probably compete with some of those lower level college teams because
LSU 2 years ago.
They are stout. Now, they could probably put up a good fight against the LSU offense this year.
No, definitely.
Richard Anderson would cause some problems.
Yeah, he would
against LSU's defensive line. That Carr defense is legit, and they'll continue to play on in the playoffs this season.
And does it not bring a little bit of clarity to maybe the
definitely
defensive back room and the relationship with Carr still being on the up and up?
It's a good sign, always, right? When a new staff comes in, you can still hold on to those in-state relationships, especially when there is going to be coaching staff shakeup, right? Cortez Hankton likely will not be the wide receivers coach for LSU football. You've brought McDonald in. over from Ole Miss with Lane Kiffin. He got on the plane, but you still got Jabari Mack committed. You still held on to the commitment there with that receiver. You end up flipping Braden Allen that way as well. We also just did a recruiting shoot here in the studio with Christian Cowley.
Yeah,
go check it on our Twitter page.
Huge commitment coming through as
Okay, I thought you were being serious for a second.
Yeah, huge commitment there. Christian Cowley's committed to Free My Boy University.
All glory to God.
There you go. He did a little recruiting video, huh? A little commitment video there.
Commitment.
We appreciate you guys for sending in the super chats for that jersey, the Free My Boy jersey. It's looking good. It'll go up behind Lloyd's head right over there. When we get it all said and done, we get it signed by you guys. It'll fill that bare wall. Even though there's an Odell Beckham Jr. jersey just chilling on the floor.
yeah, we'll put
We're still putting.
I think I
stuff
might
on the
have to
wall.
send it back to Odell. The $100 million just isn't what it used to be.
Fair enough.
It's tough.
But we appreciate everybody hanging out with us. All the super chats, getting that jersey sent in. # Free My Boy. We will continue on in signing day this morning. In about 10 minutes, Jacques Doucet, the sports director over at WAFB, will join us to talk about LSU and the Lane Kiffin era as they've gotten it rocking and rolling starting here for Kiffin and LSU. I had an interesting conversation. This will be a little bit off the LSU part specifically. I had a conversation yesterday with some of the Central basketball coaches. They were just asking about SEC championships. And because they were essentially like, well, look, isn't it crazy that all of this change happens? You have the conference realignment, and you have all these different things, the ups and downs of this season, and then you look at the SEC championship, and who is it? You have all of this happen.
Alabama,
right?
Georgia.
And it's Alabama, Georgia. Right? All the season is crazy. You have upsets. You have all these things. And then you look at the championship game, and it's the same two teams you've seen.
It always is.
Throughout the last decade, right? And so the question is, when you look at the SEC championship game, what benefit does it truly bring for Alabama or Georgia, right? Playing in that game this weekend, what benefit do they gain, or would LSU gain if they were in it, or any other team? And I'll ask the chat as well. What do you gain from playing in the SEC championship game now, whatsoever?
I mean, was a part of the conversation we were having whenever LSU got in it the first year that under Brian Kelly's like, this is awesome, right? Like you have a good enough year to where you beat Alabama and then you end up in the SEC championship. And LSU at that point was, whenever you got in it, you're like, oh, you could use this to propel you maybe into the playoff. But then you drop the ball. Was it before the A&M game?
Yep.
And you lose at home. And now so those dreams were dashed, and you go play. And then it became, why does Georgia even want to be here? Because if they lose to LSU, what does that do to their playoff chances? And I guess you get a de facto bye if you're the SEC champion, right? Mm-hmm. You don't host a home playoff game, but you get that week off going into that's the big prize, right? But if you lose it, what does that really put you? Like, is it worth playing in? Or you could be one of these. You could be Ole Miss, like, oh, we're good. We don't even have to play in the SEC championship. We still get a playoff spot. So
you get a bye, basically.
You get a home playoff game
if you win.
Yeah, but they get their bye before their first playoff game because they don't have to play in the SEC championship. Right. And it's not a.
I think,
because for Ole Miss, Ole Miss doesn't have to play a game this weekend,
right?
And gets to just have a bye, get healthy, and prepare for,
and then play a lesser team at home.
I don't know how you would fix this, but I think this is just like a culture issue. Like, we have deemed the SEC championship as basically meaningless if you don't go win the big thing. Like, for example, in soccer, you can win your country's league, and then you can go win the Champions League, and both matter a lot. Here, it's like if you win the SEC championship but you don't win the Natty, no one really cares if you're in LSU and Alabama, Georgia. I don't know how. Like I said, I don't know how you fix this, but that I think is the issue, because I think that's a lot of bragging rights right there. If you win the SEC, you're the SEC champion. I think that should almost be like.
Well, because
I don't know what you would get from that,
right?
And I don't know how you get people to care. But that's a huge deal, and nobody looks at it that way.
Well, but I just think, like, at the same time, if you're going to play this game and you're going to say, all right, one team will get the automatic bye, the other, it could drop in the rankings potentially. Like, if you're Alabama and you lose to Georgia, you could slip down from 7 to 10, right? And then you're no longer a home playoff. Okay, well, then that means playing in it will hurt you if you lose. Okay, so let's say nothing happens due to the outcome of the game, right? Besides the winner gets in. It doesn't affect the loser at all. Well, then why do you play it? Like, why would I sign up to play it?
And I have to go bump heads with, like...
Yeah, I mean, Georgia lost their quarterback in it last year.
Right, and you're playing a playoff game.
Right, like...
Alabama, Georgia, they just played each other, by the way.
Right, well, and also, like, if you're Georgia, or if you're what was it, Texas played Georgia last year? Texas loses to Georgia, plays a tougher team in that game than they did round 1 against Arizona State. Or against Clemson. Against Clemson. Like, they played a better team in the SEC championship game than they had to play in the playoff. I heard there's an interesting point made, and I'll ask the chat because I thought it was kind of head-scratching and I didn't really know how likely it would to happen or if you should even do it. If when, you know, the playoff expands and you have some more conference realignment or whatever happens, and those top 4 SEC teams get in, right? Or the top 3 or whatever. Then team 4 and 5 or 5 and 6 in the conference, they play in the SEC championship game for a spot in the playoff. So the top 4 teams automatically in. Team 5 and 6 play the SEC championship playoff play-in game. So, like, say this season it would be like Georgia's in, A&M is in, Ole Miss is in, Alabama in automatically. Texas and Vanderbilt face off head-to-head SEC championship game for the 5th spot.
Yeah, you change all of the history of what...
You just change the whole thing.
Yeah, because to suit the playoff. Because I think this is a uniquely SEC problem, right? And maybe Big Ten, where a lot of the, like, Clemson, it was everything to be in the ACC championship game because if you win, you're in. If you're in the SEC, if you win or lose, you're probably going to go to the playoff. Like,
right.
Is that not what it feels like? So it's like it's a uniquely SEC problem to be, why are we even playing this? We're both going to we might see each other in a month, in like 2 weeks. And so,
I mean, go back to the
and then you'd have Alabama, Georgia playing 3 times.
Right. Alabama, Georgia played each other in the SEC championship in 2021. Alabama wins, that gets them in, and then they play again in the national championship, and Georgia wins.
Do we really figure anything out? It's good ball, though.
We watched the same game twice. You know, like, I don't know how likely it would be because that's the point you're at now where it's kind of like you got to blow this whole thing up. Mm-hmm. You got to redo this whole calendar and then another point that Coach Osborne, the head coach at Central High School for basketball, he said, well, why not just not play it, get a bye week? He said no conference championships. It turns into a bye week, and you bump the whole playoff up a week. And then that might help your calendar get straightened out again a little bit. I mean, still there's a lot of changes that need to happen. But if you move everything up a week, you're not going deep into January, and you can have the season done before the second semester starts. Who knows?
I forgot who was. I was just trying to think of who was telling me this, or no, where I heard it. It was McShay or Rosillo. It was one of those two. Right. I was talking about how you could fix the college football schedule. It was like you literally just move everything up a little bit, and then you don't have this problem with the coaches. You don't have this problem with the bowl games and all of the things that you're running into. There was a formula that they spit out. I was like, this makes way too much sense. They'll never do it. I was like, oh, he fixed it. But obviously that's not where we are right now. But it really is almost like that. Gage in the chat, shout out Gage, like SEC champion call it a day.
Yeah,
like a regular season.
Yeah.
Because this is, I mean, it's a little bit silly because you're going to have teams, especially with the way that the new schedule is formatted, you could have a team play, like 2 teams play 3 times in the same year.
Right.
And it's like, so the one in the regular season didn't mean anything. The one in the SEC championship didn't mean anything. And if we play again and we lose, it's like, well, we're 2-1 against you. Right. We lost in the playoff. Oh, well.
What if we just decided it on whoever won the halftime Dr. Pepper football throwing challenge.
They need to
So you
change
just play the
that.
first half.
I'm more concerned with that.
You can
Yeah.
no chest passing.
No, you have
Yes,
to
no.
throw
Oh
it
my
like
God.
a football.
Oh my God.
Just throw it like a football.
And
Yes. Yeah. Oh my
Nyquil
God.
Dillwad, also welcome back. Good to see you again.
Ding dong.
Make SEC a depth championship. Only third string and walk-ons can play. See how deep your team is.
Yeah.
Oh, LSU's running through that shit. Cohen Alaire, Malachi Lane, son. We have a squad. We have Kenzel Kelly, free my boy. We have a fucking squad. I'd be worried about A&M though. A&M's those 12th manners are. I feel like they're pretty good.
Yeah. Let's see what. Yeah, but I mean,
they-
Carl
but
Dunn
A&M
is the point. The money is the reason why they won't get rid of him. It's gonna continue to
that's-
make money.
That's
There's a better way to find this. To make
Nyquil
money, though.
Dillwad. Let's just have UGA Bama 11 times a year. First of 6 wins gets the national.
yeah. I mean, it's a win on aggregate, or like it is kind of stupid. And the SEC, like to Christian's point, it used to mean a ton.
Yeah.
Like it would decide if you went to the national championship or not.
Right.
Because there was just the one.
I think it
was
should
the
mean
SEC
something
championship.
alone.
If you win it, you're in the national
But it
championship.
was also meant something even if you didn't win it, and
Yeah.
like, even if you won it and you didn't get in the national championship.
That's
Like,
what it's
but then
missing.
it would propel you to a Sugar Bowl
Right,
or whatever,
right.
and then if you win that, like
Like
LSU in like 06.
right. That's what I'm about to say. I mean, like you won it, and you look at it, and you're like, it's a successful season. You won the SEC championship, even though you didn't win the Natty that year, right? Like it's all changed so much. But we're gonna take a quick break here. We'll set up. JD, Jacques Doucet, the sports director at WFB9, will join us right after this quick break.
Come visit us, Tom and Ryan Granding at Go Martin on the Go Deli.
Go Mart has clean restrooms, community coffee, an awesome beer cave, and a great selection of anything you may need.
Located at the corner of Highland Boulevard and Highway 61 South in Natchez.
Also stop by Wardo's Po' Boys at 309 North Broadway on the beautiful Natchez Bluff.
Where everyone is family.
Wardo's was created in honor of Alan Ward Branning III, fondly known by family and friends as Wardo. In 2019, the oldest brother of the tribe passed away unexpectedly. His remaining siblings and loved ones wanted to honor his memory in a special way. In 2022, Ward's family decided to combine the need for a sandwich shop in downtown Natchez with a desire to pay tribute to Ward's love of good friends, good times, and great food. Through blood, sweat, tears, and countless hours of hard work, Wardo's was born. So go visit Wardo's today at 309 North Broadway Street in Natchez, where the po' boys are so good, you'll swear you're in Cajun country.
All right, welcome back here as we are rolling through hour number 2 here on this early signing day edition of Tingle Co. We are joined by the best in the business, the sports director over at WAFB. Jacques Doucet joins us this morning to talk some LSU football and the Lane Kiffin era. JD, good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning. But wait, there's more. That's what this feels like, you know. Every time you think, you knew that even after the hiring of the head coach and introduction, it wasn't going to settle down. You got your staff that's up in the air. You got your recruits up in the air. So on a cold and gray day in Baton Rouge, there's a lot that's going to happen here in the next 48 hours that'll, I guess, dictate the future of what goes on around here.
Yeah, I want to start with the press conference on Monday. What were your takeaways and your thoughts on Lane Kiffin's introductory press conference, his comments, and maybe just kind of the vibes around the room as well?
Well, I agree with what a lot of people observed. I think he was a bit nervous at the beginning, but then settled in as the press conference went. You know, it's kind of like the Republicans who hate watch CNN or the Democrats who hate watch Fox News. I think there were probably a lot of Ole Miss fans hate watching the press conference, and he knew that. And then certainly there were a lot of LSU fans excited and to land their guy in a unique press conference. That's the first time they've ever introduced a football coach in the South Stadium Club there. They certainly implemented some atmosphere and fans, so there'd be some applause and things like that, as opposed to, I think Nick Saban was introduced in the LSU Athletic Administration building when they used to do those press conferences on the 5th floor there. So was Les Miles, so was Ed Ogeron. Brian Kelly was in the Lawton Room of Tiger Stadium. Some things certainly rhymed with the Brian Kelly introduction, the win bar, alignment being mentioned many different times. But I think Kiffin did a very good job before it was all said and done, exciting the LSU fan base by saying that it's time to return LSU to its rightful place as it being an elite football program. Certainly he spoke confidently about being able to get players out of the transfer portal with the resources that he's been given through NIL funds. I liked his answer to the question I was able to ask about Tiger Stadium and being an assistant coach with Alabama and then the head coach at Ole Miss. Those two, overtime games that he coached in, one being the 2014 LSU-Alabama game, in which I think he dialed up an amazing play in overtime, lined up an offensive lineman, big boy at tight end, and he went out for a pass. Blake Sims, I think, was the quarterback for Alabama, threw him the ball for a big play that set up the touchdown for Alabama in overtime, a game LSU absolutely should have won. Kendall Beckwith recovered a fumble at the Alabama 5-yard line in the final minute of the game. If the ESPN projector would have been up back then, if it was, I think LSU probably had a 98% chance to win, but they somehow lost the game. Alabama had no timeouts, went down the field and kicked the field goal to force overtime. But I digress. Last year, and then he was a head coach last year at Ole Miss. Obviously, the late Kyron Lacey makes the catch on the first play for LSU to walk it off. I think that was a game that Ole Miss, looking back on, it's kicking themselves. We absolutely should have won that game if you're an Ole Miss fan. But anyway, it was I thought he did a good job. I thought he did a good job of saying, hey, look, I'm human, and, I have feelings, and it's not a great feeling to, for those people at the airport to flip me off and to be hated or have people really upset with me. But I just don't, he's a victim of the calendar. There is no way, I don't think, that you can come to Baton Rouge, wear a purple shirt Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday for signing day, and then go back over to Oxford and put a red shirt on and say, hey, I'm coaching the team in the playoff or whatever. It's just everybody over there is going to be staring at him like an alien. So I don't think there's any way that could have worked. Unfortunately, it's too bad. The calendar is what it is. I was did the chat with Jordy Culotta yesterday, and we were saying, can you imagine, Sean Payton when he was coaching the Saints having a 13-3 team on the way to playoffs, and then saying, hey, I'm not coaching the team in the playoffs. I'm going to coach the Dallas Cowboys now or Denver Broncos. It's just, it's crazy the way it all shakes out. I don't know if that horse can ever get back in the barn. I don't know if they can implement some sort of rules where you can't talk to coaches or name coaches until their seasons are over. Get rid of spring football in March. Do it in May. Stop the mid-semester enrollees. Make signing day later. This all sounds like maybe a pipe dream, but I think it would benefit the sport if they somehow could do it.
I just want to give you credit also, JD. Noah was at the press conference. I was watching it live with bated breath, and I think that your question was the one that kind of got Lane Kiffin rolling a little bit. I think he felt a little uneasy with the opening statement, trying to kind of get through it. But once he got I think you loosened him up to a point of something that he actually did want to talk about and had feelings for. So obviously my compliment means probably nothing to you, but I thought that really helped Lane Kiffin be eased into it. So once again, you found your way into the pocket of a coach, which is, I believe, probably good for business.
Well, thanks, Lloyd. No, I certainly appreciate your compliment. If I was his first glass of wine, so to speak, then good. I can only imagine having to step up at a press conference like that, and it's bright lights and everything, and these are highly paid professionals and whatnot. But that there's so much being heaped upon you now in terms of you're supposed to be a savior of this program, and then I have anxiety and get nervous about messing up a sportscast or going 30 seconds long, Lloyd. They gave me 4 minutes. I went 4:30. I kept talking. They got mad. Those are the kind of things I don't feel good about. I can only imagine pissing off millions of people, literally. I mean, there's 60,000 people in that stadium at Ole Miss, but there's around the world, probably millions of Ole Miss fans, and I would guess that 80 to 90% of them are not happy with Lane Kiffin right now. So that's it's high. It's big-time college football. It's a lot different than the stuff I grew up on in the 80s and 90s. It's where it is right now, and it's never been wilder. I was thinking as we were in Tiger Stadium, I said, you realize LSU walked out of this stadium in late September with a 4-0 record. They got into the top 5 of the country. They then went to Ole Miss, lost to Lane Kiffin, and here we are 2 months later looking up at the same video boards with Lane Kiffin's face on it as the new head coach of LSU. I mean, life comes at you fast, as they say.
That's for sure. And I'll ask you kind of on the point of Lane coaching at Ole Miss and then hurling insults at him, getting on the plane. They did the same thing to Charlie Weiss Jr., but Ole Miss is allowing him to come back and coach the college football playoff game. What are your thoughts on that dynamic?
I think it's fine from LSU's perspective. I don't think it's a negative. Certainly, I think I did a little Zoom with Paul Feinbaum yesterday. I think Paul called Lane the most popular or most famous person in college football. So he can't go anywhere without being recognized. Charlie Weiss Jr. maybe a little bit different. So he won't stick out as a sore thumb as much in Oxford, but certainly your football people will know who he is and fans will know who he is. If you're Ole Miss, do you want him there? How does that all go? If I'm an Ole Miss fan, I guess my question is, well, how much does this guy really care if we win or lose? That'd be the same question too. Like if Kiffin was still coaching the team, we lost. On to my next job, on to LSU. Do the coaches, are they as emotionally invested and care as much as I do if I'm a fan? I guess that's the question. And the whole war secrets, and is Charlie Weiss, going to take all this stuff over to LSU about us because we host LSU next year, whenever that is, if you're an Ole Miss fan. But I thought that was interesting. I don't think I've ever gotten a press release like that before in terms of a statement from a head coach speaking about an assistant being allowed to coach in the playoff and all that. So that was I didn't watch that show last night, the playoff show or any of that, but it was unique for sure.
Definitely. And I want to ask you about Verge Osbury. Obviously, he gets promoted to permanent AD. This is his first move and the biggest move as athletic director. What are your thoughts on the job that he's done so far as the AD for LSU?
Yeah, well, we don't know how many games Lane Kiffin's going to win, but in terms of the assignment Verge was given, certainly going from, playing drums in the band to being the front man, and given there's no bigger responsibility that an athletic director has in hiring a head football coach. It dictates the entire athletic department, and I think that LSU did a pretty masterful job. And there was information that got out here and there in terms of the contract LSU offered and some other things, but for the most part, it wasn't, just information spreading everywhere. And I thought they did a masterful job of keeping it quiet, executing, and landing their guy. And so, Verge, just like a football coach doesn't win a game on his own, and Verge didn't hire Lane Kiffin on his own. He got certainly plenty of help around him, but he was the face of the thing as the athletic director, put in a very big spot as his first assignment and came through. So I was happy for Verge, and I was happy for LSU because, if you go back to that week, that very chaotic week of firing Brian Kelly on Sunday, the governor at a press conference for food stamps, blasting the athletic director on Wednesday, I think it was. Scott Woodward being fired on Thursday. Verge being introduced at a press conference at 8 a.m. on Friday on Halloween. I think there was a very bad feeling about the momentum, that it was not good momentum, that LSU was this was going to scare away any potential candidates for the job, that LSU was a mess, and that it wasn't going to go well in terms of landing a new head coach. But certainly they were able to, if it was negative momentum, they were able to overcome all that. Certainly Lane Kiffin in his press conference mentioned Governor Landry, I think 2 or 3 times in a positive light. So apparently they're all on a good page, on the right page there. And, I guguess one surprising thing through this whole thing is how much money Louisiana has. I thought we were poor. I've always been told that, Louisiana, we don't have Fortune 500 companies. We can't compete with Texas and, some of these other states. And wherever the money's coming from, we got it. I mean, so I'm almost wondering, I'm like, so what's the difference between LSU going like 7-5 and 10-2 and making a playoff? Is there any way to recoup all this money, or are we just so invested in 18 to 22-year-olds winning a football game to make us feel good that we are just going to spend whatever it takes to get there? So that's what kind of surprised me along the way, is how much money is being spent on buyouts, new coaches, roster, all those things.
We can't, because we've always been told, LSU can't get that done. Who's going to pay for it? You can't fire Brian Kelly. Where's the money going to come from? You don't have it. It's like, here's a check. Here's a check. They're currently paying 3 coaches at once. They're paying Brian Kelly, Ed Orgeron, and now Lane Kiffin. And 2 of them aren't working for you anymore. And so it's coming from somewhere. And I don't know if it's, like you said, the investment of being happy, or if the state of Louisiana does well and the football team is a part of that. I think that's what may be the driving force of the state making money. So whoever's business it is I do really well when LSU football does really well, so it's an investment. But it is nice to be at the table of the haves instead of crying poor like we did for 15 years. So good on LSU and whoever's doing it. But I guess LSU football, and I'll ask you this, does it feel like that is the driving force of all of this? If LSU football does well, the state of Louisiana does well?
Well, I certainly feel like there's no natural narcotic like LSU football. I think it happened once during the Brian Kelly era, and that was when they went for 2 and beat Alabama in Tiger Stadium his first year. When you win a game like that, it just makes everybody feel so good. It has people like my parents who were in their 70s and 80s staying up till 3 and 4 in the morning doing pickle shots at the Pastime Pizza under the bridge over there, That's the kind of impact LSU football has on people, and there's just kind of nothing like it. Do we care about it way too much? Absolutely. Do we spend too much money on it and time and effort? Absolutely. I always kind of wonder if you make it to heaven and God's up there saying, you spent all this time on this LSU stuff. There was so much more to life that you could have, but it's great. That's what it is. We love it. It's a thing that, maybe unlike music where your dad tries to get you to listen to his music, and you're like, that's gross. That's terrible, Dad, or whatever the case. Football, LSU football seems to be the thing that can be passed down from older to younger, and they gravitate and grab to, immediately. It's something that families share and pass down. Not to get all, sentimental, but that's what LSU football means. That's what LSU athletics means. I'll never forget the day that I watched Tommy Hodson throw the ball to Eddie Fuller and LSU beat Auburn to win the earthquake game. I'll never forget being in Tiger Stadium when LSU had no chance against Florida in 1997 and Steve Spurrier when they were number 1 and Kevin Falk and Herb Tyler and Cedric Donaldson and all those guys upset Florida. That was an amazing feeling to be a fan that night. So, yeah, I think that people, we can gripe, and rightfully so, about the structure of college football now and what's going on, and it's about me, I, and not the team, and that could go for coaches and players. But as long as there's LSU football, as long as there's Tiger Stadium, as long as the team will gather in the north end zone and run onto the field, I think people are going to be there. We can say this is it. I'm walking away. No more LSU football for me. Yeah, I don't believe you. You'll be back.
Prove it. And that's where I think they were. That's what kind of maybe caused this, because I do think that one of the lower points of my LSU, I guess, tenure, whether you was in school or just watching as a fan, was that night against Texas A&M where you're something I'd never seen happen, where Tiger Stadium had gotten absolutely taken over. And I think that was part of the reason why the powers that be looked around and said, this can never happen again. This doesn't happen to LSU. You don't lose Tiger Stadium. And the brand was almost on watch. And I think that's kind of what led to this Lane Kiffin. It spurred the decision to maybe make a head coaching change and to go get Lane Kiffin. It got you in the running, and it ultimately got you the guy. And I say all that to say, you mentioned moments of LSU, because it's never been this sustained success of you're going on a dynastic run of 2 or 3 national championships in 10 years. You've been good, but you haven't ever been able to win 2 in a row, 2 national championships in a row. Is this that Lane Kiffin hire where you expect, okay, he's going to be here for 7 years? You almost expect to be in that conversation of maybe he's the first coach that can get you 2 national championships.
Yeah, well, I liked what he said. It had crossed my mind already, but he brought it up at the press conference in terms of, look, I'm 50 years old. Nick Saban won his first national championship when he was 52, I think. Yep. Pete Carroll came into his own as a head coach. Remember when USC hired Pete Carroll, he was a joke. I mean, there were a lot of jokes about Pete Carroll and not being a great coach. And I know there's no love lost for Pete Carroll in Baton Rouge. Nobody's a real big fan of his. But he did come into his own as a head coach in his 50s as well. And so I like what Lane Kiffin said about, hey, look, this is my 6th head coaching job, and I'm 50 years old. There's not many people that can say that, And I've learned, he had no business being a head coach in the NFL in his early 30s. And, he left Tennessee after 1 year, and he did some things. He didn't work out at USC, but then he, did his job for the most part at Alabama, but then was fired by Nick Saban. Florida Atlantic did a nice job, and at Ole Miss settled in and kind of proved that, hey, I'm not a job hopper. I mean, he stayed there 6 years. That's a good chunk of time. So, and obviously was having more success, much more success moving forward than the later years than the early ones. So, I like what he said about that. I think it could be the perfect marriage in terms of a guy who's, 50 these days isn't old. I'm not saying that just to make myself feel better, Lloyd. But, I think it's not certainly it's a young age, 50. He's a young 50. He's energetic. He's going to work. He's going to call great plays. He's going to have an offense. His strength is LSU's weakness. I went to Norman, Oklahoma. Don't ask me why. I was there and I covered the game. And, I thought, was LSU going to steal this game 13-10? And, gave up a bust late in the game. But, the offense was dreadful to watch. That's obviously his strength. That's what he will fix. And I think he's exciting. He's a celebrity. The players, the recruits know him. Now, look, there's a lot of questions right now. What's going on with, what is going on with Frank Wilson? What's going on with Corey Raymond? Does Blake Baker take the Tulane job or not? These are all questions that will be answered here in the next next week, hopefully. But, I guess, they sometimes say you can't have a relationship with conditions. And one big soundbite he had was that Verge told him, you're going to coach the team and I'm going to get out of your way. So I don't know if LSU says, Lane, you're the head coach, but by the way, can you keep Corey Raymond, Frank Wilson, and, these guys? I don't know if that all is going to line up or not. We'll have to wait and see.
And the last one I'll ask you, JD. Lane didn't go too in detail when he was asked about it. When Lane called Nick Saban and asked for his advice and his thoughts on the LSU job, what do you think Nick said?
Well, it's interesting because, and I'm not trying to say that I know, not trying to take credit or anything, but it's kind of amazing to me that some people come across, Saban, I think recently said, leaving LSU was the biggest mistake I ever made. He's been saying that for the better part of 20 years. I mean, I went over there in 2007, the first Saban Bowl, so to speak, when his first year at Alabama, Les Miles at LSU, and LSU had to, kind of make this miraculous comeback and pull this game out at the end to beat Alabama in 07. But I was there that week at his press conferences, and he pretty much said it then. He said, leaving LSU was a mistake. Shouldn't have done it. It was the case of grass is always greener. Got to do this. Can't be settled. And so I would imagine he told Lane, this is what Jordy Collada said in our chat. He probably told Lane, look, there's no comparison between the job at LSU and the job at Ole Miss. I mean, look at the size of the stadiums, look at the size of the fan bases, and just the fact that, look, LSU's won national championships in recent years, and Ole Miss hasn't. Ole Miss has never been to the conference championship game. So I think that's probably what he told him. Probably told him that you'll have, if you recruit well, you'll have tons of talent in Louisiana. You can go recruit in Texas. I mean, Lane Kiffin knows all this already. I mean, I think that's one of the biggest things about getting him as a head coach as opposed to Brian Kelly. Not the fact that he's younger and more energetic, but also the fact that he's been in the SEC. Brian Kelly had not been in the SEC, and he might have been told about it. He might have tried to mentally prepare himself for it, but he wasn't. Although his SEC record was pretty good, 19-10. I mean, it's not bad. I think his first 2 years at LSU, he was 12-4 in the league. So certainly he had a lot more success than a lot of people did. But at the end of the day, the LSU couldn't get to the next level. So I think Saban told him, look, hey, you remember us coaching in that place, right? You remember what a madhouse Tiger Stadium is. You'll have that in your corner. The people of Louisiana are passionate and great. And obviously, we like we said, we've got money that we didn't know we perhaps had. So I think he probably told him it's the best job in college football. It might even be better than Alabama.
And JD, to close it out, what do y'all have going on over at WAFB coming up soon?
Well, today is signing day. We've got a ton of local high schools that are having signings. John Eads, Kevin Baptiste will be out there hustling and covering those. I'll be out covering some as well. Go to youtube.com or wafb.com. Check out my chat with Jordy Collada. Check out my chat with Paul Feinbaum, just recently posted. Great stuff there. And we're going to do at least one more Sportsline Friday night, at least 25 minutes. This Friday is semifinal action. If you can believe that, semifinals this week, and then next weekend, state championships in the Superdome. The high school football season is going to be coming to an end and crowning state champions very soon.
Well, JD, we appreciate you making some time for us, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Okay, buddy. Thanks. Talk to you later.
There he is, Jacques Doucet, the sports director over at WAFB. Great stuff, as always. He is the best in the business. We appreciate it.
We say that a lot.
He is.
But he is.
Truly is.
He truly is. Truly.
He's the best in the business. He's running around like a madman at the press conference, making sure cameras are right, but he had to go and get his question. He looked great. He was suited up. I, for one, was a little underdressed.
Well, we didn't know that was going to be the whole.
I had the quarter zip on, I had the khaki pants. Like, I dressed nice. But I walked in, I was like, oh, we're wearing suits.
That side of the room.
Yep. Well, no, even this side of the room.
I think you get a pass.
I think I looked
I think you look
like I think you're young enough to where like it's cool.
And I sat next to Poggi. Shout out to my guy Poggi.
Did he wear a suit?
Poggi came straight from class. No, Poggi was in a hoodie and sweatpants with a hat on. And I was like,
that's my guy. I'll come because he's up next to you.
Shout out to Poggi.
Hey, he's more involved than any of the people in there because he actually goes to the school.
There you go.
That's right.
There you go.
Voice of the people, mate.
He's got more in it. We appreciate everybody hanging out with us here on this Wednesday morning. Let's double check the LSU Twitter page for some signees.
Word to bro.
Safety Isaiah Washington has signed with the Tigers, so there's your latest LSU signee. As we will still wait out the Richard Anderson and Lamar Brown conversation, decision, and process over the rest of today and through the next couple of days. I think this signing period is Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So you'll have these 3 days, and we'll see if there's some news comes out today about those two big-time LSU commits. As we've got at King_on_the_throne in the chat. Seems to be a an Ole Miss fan that's made his way into the chat this morning.
Yeah,
we appreciate you joining us. Make sure you like, subscribe, share.
It is actually a $10 super chat requirement.
Yeah,
if
go
it's
ahead and
your
drop
first
that $10 super chat, King on the Throne. We appreciate it. At W Tyson 83 Haynesville. Yep, Isaiah Washington. Shout out. But I appreciate everybody getting in here.
And if you think it's LSU obviously feels like fans are panicking a bit. Not sure what direction everything was going to go. You're losing your top 2 recruits. You're not losing your top 2 recruits. Let's just know you could still be Penn State.
Oh, yeah.
139th ranked recruiting class with 4 total recruits and no head coach.
I saw that.
Who are the 4 people that are going?
Bet you they're from Pennsylvania.
I bet.
Well, and then at the Virginia Tech signing day, they're putting out the dessert is crumble because Penn State's crumbling.
Oh. And, well, Crumble, he is
from?
the CEO for BYU.
Yeah.
And he's like, looks like it's time for me to get off the sidelines. And they kept their coach.
There you go.
Unbelievable. That's
Shout
who Penn
out.
State was going to get.
Drop that, and that's why they dropped that crumble out on the hokey table.
Mm-hmm. Because it's another shot because that's who saved
This
from...
really is a reality television show. College football. Like, it's unbelievable.
I just want to see who who signed it.
The 4 Penn State signees.
4-star safety Matt Sieg. I bet he is. I bet he tries hard. I'll say that. Terry Wiggins, Pennsylvania. Matt Sieg, McDonald, PA.
Yep.
And Amari Polidor, Baltimore, Maryland.
Okay.
That's it.
They got 3 signees.
Mm-hmm.
That is tough. It could always be worse.
They
Could
had
always be
1,
worse.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 decommits. 10, 11, 12, 13,
Wow.
14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23 decommits. That's tough.
Remember for that, Lamar and Blake Baker will announce as a tandem. We'll see. I'm excited.
And then, throw Tyrann Matthew in there.
Find
Said he
out.
could be down there yesterday.
Oh, that Tyrann video. Did something to you, didn't it?
Yeah, love it.
Well, if they called you today, Tyrann, when would you be there? I'll be there today.
Shit, I can make it today.
I'll be there today. Give me a couple hours. I'll be there today.
He did. He actually thought, like, well, I mean, I could just leave now.
I'll be there today.
I think he lives in Mandeville, so.
That's what, he really was
He
like,
would literally be there today.
Yeah.
If they called and offered him a job, he'd be there.
It ain't that far.
It ain't too far.
That would be so interesting. I mean, he clearly wants to do something with the
course.
program. I just don't know.
Just put
At
him.
Billy Young 1511 in the chat, Noah would sign to eat crumble and forget about football teams and proceed to eat everything.
Yeah, Noah wants to do a food podcast.
Why not? I've always said, if the sports thing doesn't work out,
Competitive eater.
Oh my
it
God.
would be food. Would be the next
Lock
thing.
in.
What do you mean lock in? Can't eat?
Diet.
That doesn't mean you can't eat.
Bro, if you lost like 25 pounds,
If you gained 25 pounds.
I did. I gained 20.
Where?
Do I need to take my shirt off?
Would you want to do like man versus food or like Anthony Bourdain?
Whatever you want me to do.
I didn't know if you want to do like challenges where it's like.
I'll do the challenges. I would probably prefer the Anthony Bourdain, but I would do the challenge. I mean,
Well, that's
whatever.
like, but that's like not so much about food; it is about culture. Like you
Right,
immerse
but
yourself.
I love eating food from all over the place.
I just feel like man versus food is much easier in terms of the content to be put out, but
Of course.
probably not very good for the body as Adam Richmond had to stop.
Yeah, I
Like,
mean, it's
bro,
not good for your body.
You're killing yourself.
Yeah.
Supersize Me, that guy, liar. It wasn't the McDonald's. It was the fact that he was a crippling alcoholic.
Right.
And the doctors were trying to tell him, and he's like, "No, it's the sodium in the French fries." Like, no, it's the half gallon of gin you drank before you got here. Your liver is failing. I mean, Oh well.
Oh, well. Athletic connections.
Lakers, Quakers, Makers. Mark,
Let's see.
play caller, play action, play maker,
Uh-huh.
play off.
There you go.
J off. D for coins.
Nuggets.
Nuggets. See, always food.
Lakers. Knicks. Orange. It's Carmelo Anthony.
Anthony. Look, Penn State.
Yeah, Penn State. Shout out.
Shout out.
Shout out.
God.
Why does that always happen?
It
You start
happens all
talking
the time.
about something random or just whatever the theme is, and then it goes to
We're pretty plugged into the
this is that
pop
the
culture of
athletic
sports.
connection.
Of course.
So, like, whatever those are usually pretty topical.
Yeah. They try to connect. Oh, Billy Young timed out King on the Throne officially. 60 seconds.
What does that mean?
What do you do?
It's just timed out that Ole Miss fan for yapping.
Oh, nice, Bill.
Shout out.
I didn't know he had the power.
Bush
Shit.
peach flavor
Just
beer
power.
drinking LSU fans, lol. Dude, your entire school's
Demi
based around
Lovato.
Greek life.
This is the woman's face.
And is that
That's what's his face. That's Charlie Sheen's dad.
Martin Sheen?
Martin Sheen.
Yeah. Nice. I was gonna say my first thought was the Succession dad.
Ah.
Ah, fuck off!
You sicko son.
He's-
Romulus.
You better be smelling your fucking armpit. What a show.
Taken in the second round out of Florida, this edge rusher totaled 100 career sacks, including 80 sacks for the Bengals from 2010 to 2020.
Oh, we should know this.
A Florida edge rusher that went to the Bengals from 2010 to 2020.
Not birthday.
Carlos Dunlap?
Yeah, I mean, the only two that I could think of from that time period were Geno Atkins
Not
and
yet.
Carlos Dunlap, but Atkins was a
D-tackle.
interior. Send it. Mr. Chex Mix.
Yeah. Big
There you
brain.
go.
MLB, baseball. In 1903?
03.
This American League franchise changed its name to the
Naps to honor its
Naps.
star player Nap Leger, who was the player manager for them.
Sig. You had a team named after you.
That's awesome.
It was the Naps.
Who would care that much? Nap Leger is an awesome name.
That is a great
What if
name.
he was sleepy?
Great name. Chat says Cleveland.
Okay.
The Cleveland Naps.
They should have gone back to that.
They should. Oh. Forgot what they became after they were the Naps.
Yeah.
Novak Djokovic earned this European country.
Is Novak going to have to Djokovic?
Isn't he from Slovenia? Is he from...
European country.
He's from the same country as Luka, no?
Yeah, that's what I say, Slovenia, right?
No, I thought he was Lithuanian.
He's from there's little islands.
Is Luka Slovenian?
Yeah, he's not from because he would be from.
It was that language Kobe
yeah,
was speaking.
He's from
Spanish?
Serbia. That's what it is. I knew it was an S.
Oh, he is from Serbia?
Serbia.
Okay.
Yeah, he's
Wait.
He's
He's from the
Jokic.
same... Really? Why aren't they good at national basketball then?
They are.
Yeah.
Serbia?
They got the
does Luka
bronze.
play on the team with Jokic?
No.
Yeah.
He's not from the same places. They're not from the same place.
He's a tennis player.
Dirk. I'm thinking of
Dirk is from
Dirk is
Germany.
What was the question about? I thought it was about Dirk.
Novak Djokovic
is a tennis player.
Oh, I was thinking of Dirk. Yeah, I know. Yeah, Novak's from... Yeah, I knew that.
Stephen King's first published novel was this 1974 book about a high school outcast
Does Carrie?
with telekinetic powers. That's up to I don't know. Never read it.
I believe it's Carrie. I don't want to be wrong, but I don't want to check the chat. Yes,
Do you trust yourself?
I do.
There you go.
Resembling a traditional candy bar, Kit Kat sells its product consisting of 4 layers of wafer and chocolate in a single chocolate bar.
Noah?
Oh, it's the big Kit Kat.
The Big Cat. Look at that Big Cat!
King Cat?
No, it's like a big cat.
Wildcat?
It's is it? No. Is it?
I mean, I've had
The
it, 'cause
wafer?
It's literally just the big bar. It's just like the big
Kit
thick
Kat.
bar.
Big Cat!
Just, I think I genuinely am telling you, it's the big cat.
Really?
Yeah.
No.
King size big cat.
Big Cat. Nice. Yeah, what are you doing, baby? Oh, Lisa.
Pamela
Oh,
Anderson.
Home Improvement. Yeah. Tim the Toolman Taylor.
Yep.
You know that, who's the star of that? Not Pamela, obviously. The
guy?
Yeah.
Well, I can't think of his name. He's done like that show 14 times. He keeps redoing it. I can't think of his name.
It's not Tom Arnold.
Tim Allen?
Tim Allen. You know that he was a huge cocaine dealer?
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Reminds me of somebody I know.
Jeremy Piven.
Oh, this is Smoking Aces. Movie rocks.
Movie rocks. There you go.
Have you ever seen it?
Smoking Aces? No. Should?
It's good. Fun.
After winning the Grammy for Record of the Year in 2020, this singer won again in 2021.
What a run.
For Everything I Wanted.
Who was singing back? Kesha?
I mean, what? Taylor Swift?
Woke up feeling like P. Diddy.
Everything I wanted.
I don't know Everything I Wanted.
Everything I
wanted. Hoobastank.
That one woman.
I think it's a guy. Young boy.
Dua Lipa.
Billie Eilish.
Billie Eilish.
Billy Young.
Yeah,
Billie
I was
Eilish.
gonna guess Billie Eilish.
William Eilish, says Andrew Messina.
Nice.
Bill Eilish.
Yeah, Billie I.
Big Bill Eilish.
Hell yeah,
Come on,
dude.
buddy.
The time.
Big Bill
Bill
Eilish.
Oh, pop star Bill
Defensive
Eilish.
tackle right
Yeah.
there. Big Bill Eilish.
Penn State.
Hashtag free my boy.
Yeah, but Tim Allen was supplying like all of Hollywood with cocaine, and he got
Wow.
caught with like a ton of
Oh,
it.
he got caught?
And he
That
had
always
he had
sucked.
to reform, and he shaved his mustache
Glimmer
and changed his name.
Lloyd Courtney.
Yeah.
Read Glimmer's chat out loud, Christian.
If it has 6'7" in it, I'm coming over there and slapping you. Eilish is racked up under them baggy shirts.
It's true.
It is true. She is gross though.
Willie Eilish.
I think he's got
Bill.
pretty eyes.
Pretty eyes.
Your
Ocean
hair,
eyes.
her hair looks really greasy.
Do you think so?
Yeah. Pull up a picture of old Bill I.
The science guy.
That's a great picture.
It should be that for Halloween.
I mean, that looks like you.
Over 600 grams of cocaine.
If you cut your hair, that's you.
Oh.
Oh. All the fixins.
He looks so sad.
He does the whole.
That's
Yeah,
Lloyd.
he is sad. And he's got arrested in Kalamazoo, Michigan.
A little bit older. Needs some more age to you, Lloyd.
Does he? Well, Lloyd doesn't age.
Dude, it is awfully similar though.
I seem to be a little tanner.
Yeah. We need to get you in a.
Dude,
little
losing
tanning-
600
yeah,
grams of
tanning bed.
cocaine, you don't really worry about prison. You're worried about who you owe that money
Yeah,
to.
I was about to say.
That is true.
You worry about who you got that.
And he named names. He's a snitch.
He's a
to be in-
snitch.
Yeah.
Solitary confinement
Fair
at
enough.
that point.
1.4 pounds of cocaine. That's a small child.
Very small.
I bet it was 1.5 pounds for a second. A little off top.
We appreciate
Whoops.
everybody getting in here this morning, hanging out with us as it is early signing day. See if there's any more news that's broken here.
This is 1 pound of cocaine. I mean,
Should we just stay live for all of signing day?
I got nothing to do, but I am hungry. Should we take this thing on the road?
You want to hit the road?
How much does that get you, Lloyd?
Hmm?
How much money is 1.4 pounds of cocaine worth?
$20,000? 15,000?
Oh, you're guessing. Now you're about to look it up.
No, I'm not guessing.
Estimating?
How many grams are in a pound?
I don't know, 100. If I had to guess 100.
Grams a pound.
How much is a gram these days?
Brian Burgess wishing you all an awesome rest of your Over the Hump Day. I pray that God showers each of you with his love, blessings, and peace. Sing love and prayers to you all. Great show. Thank you very much, Brian.
Thank you, Brian.
P-Dub, 12-hour stream. Hunter Hall, take it to Wardo's.
Yeah.
$1 million doll hairs. How many people Googling Bill Eilish?
I guess if you sold it, if it's 453 grams in a pound, you sold it at, if it depends, it's good, and you only sold grams, you could probably make like 40 grand.
40? If you're doing it well.
It's a lot of money.
Well,
it's free.
Oh, J.C. Anderson is officially a Tiger, the tight end that's flipped from Ole Miss to LSU from Mount Zion High School. Jeffrey Clayton J.C. Anderson. And how tall is he, Christian?
is he 6'7" or is he 6'2"?
He's 6'7".
6'2".
Nope.
Chrissy-
6'7".
Chrissy, do the Teague time meme.
Oh, that would be good.
I mean, you're in the jersey for it.
It is long enough.
How about Zion?
Dude, don't even. Like, it's honestly upsetting now. Like, I was mad at first, but now, like, you saw the arena last night.
Dude,
it genuinely
that is
was
bad.
sad.
Yeah.
Like, it was like, damn, bro. Like, she's really trying to get the team moved. Something. But they're not going to. I heard from my little Pelican source that they are working on renovations and a lease contract. So, I am confident, but it is. They're not acting like it.
Yeah.
They're not acting like it.
No,
So.
I mean, and even last night, like that's
This
the
girl
game
would ruin your life, Christian.
Which girl? Oh, that one?
Mm-hmm. Bring her home to mom.
I mean, I would let her, so would she really ruin my life if I'm expecting it?
Yeah, I don't think you know. You could be
Yeah.
like, I'm signed up for this, and then it's this. And
I
then,
mean,
whoa.
what did I expect?
Yeah.
Slash my tires? Oh, well.
Yeah. Thanksgiving.
Yeah. At least I got, something cool out of it.
Yeah, to concert tickets.
I'm sure she'll, like,
Bounce
some
on it.
money or something. I don't know.
concert tickets.
Unless she's like, I need a man
at
with
Sean
money.
D-Bone,
Can
3
help you.
6'7" tight ends on the team. That's true.
Holy shit.
It's
Third
the year,
time's a
it's the
charm.
year of Christian.
Third time's a charm.
But yeah, Pell's game last night was disappointing. It was. I'm only going to go to one more game this year, I think.
Oh, I'm going to a few.
No.
It's fun. The rookies are fun.
I watched it on TV.
I'm only going to go to one more game, and that's to see
$5
LeBron.
super chat from the Raging Poon.
What did he hit us with?
People are always too sensitive, and this is a business. Everyone's a villain, and now Saban is gone. Lane is next. I'm ready for Evil Lane. Let's ride.
Let's do it.
I went nice lane.
Wow, Billy's listening age from his Spotify Wrapped.
6'7".
No,
Oh.
68.
In between two great numbers.
Yeah. I wonder if my Spotify Wrapped is done.
How do you do that?
It just does it for you. Like you just open up the app, and it'll.
Is it that time of the year? We're already done?
Yeah, I mean it's the end of the year.
They fuck up the minutes on that thing.
Think so? Yeah,
I know
mine's not
so.
popping up.
I think it stops after September. So October, November don't count
Think so?
because it did like the race.
My top songs 2025, number 1, Tingle Co intro.
Hey,
There you go.
let's get shout out Cordell.
Shout out Cordell Music. My top song for my Spotify Wrapped 2025, the Tingle Co intro. Before Dumb Dumb and Dumber by Lil Baby, Young Thug and Future.
Yeah, same. I had that as 5th on mine.
That one's second
That
on
song.
mine.
That song was
F
crazy.
You 2 times is 3rd. And
You-
then Overdose is 4th.
Do you want to
Okay.
wait? How many do you?
I had Shot Calling.
How many songs do you think I've listened to this year?
Probably not many.
20.
5.
30.
30 songs.
Dude.
That's
What do you listen to in the car? Like you listen to podcasts?
Yeah, you listen
Okay.
to podcasts.
Well, what
30
songs are
songs
there?
is
Is it
crazy.
all Lil
Yeah.
Wayne?
What are the 30 songs? You need to list them all out right now.
Yeah. That and Tribe Called Quest.
I mean, that's great. Yeah. What's number 1? What's your most listened to?
Right
song?
above it, because I think they always play that one whenever,
yeah.
because I don't have premium.
Yeah.
So if I just type in Lil Wayne, it is right above it always. It seems like
Yeah,
plays
of
first.
course. Of course.
33 songs. I do know the words.
Yep.
Rohan predicted mine. Told me I was Bing Bowing. Well, Shot Calling was my number 1.
There you
so.
go. Big by Young Boy. Redbone by
Big,
Lil
you
Baby.
like Big.
Sneakin'. There's a lot of that Little Baby album. I must have played it a bunch.
Oh, well, I mean,
In and Out by Ludfo.
any Lil Baby album that comes out, I'll listen to. I know he's got beef, but you got to. I mean, it's Lil Baby.
There's a good mix of songs. in
Blood.
We'll go eat tomorrow. Is Wild will be here.
Yeah, why will
eat tomorrow? Yeah.
Gotta feed him, dude. I don't think the joke landed the way they wanted to because I didn't know if he was being serious. That's back. All right.
We're back. All right. We appreciate everybody hanging out with us here on this Wednesday morning. We'll be back tomorrow, 7 to 9 a.m.
7 to 9.
And we'll recap what happened today on signing day. And then I guess maybe what's left in front of you in the early signing period. P-Dub, you're not going to talk about the number 15 offensive tackle. Who's the number 15 offensive tackle that just signed? Did I miss something in the chat? Oh, Bryson Martinez signed this morning. He was the second player. We talked about him. If you scroll back to the early 7 a.m. hour, we talked about Bryson Martinez. The fact that Texas was trying to pull him away. Went on some visits to Austin. LSU sealed the deal, got the job done with, like I said, one of the most athletic players in the country. But since we didn't open up phone lines on Monday and football season is over, we're going to get back to our regularly scheduled Wednesday phone lines next week. The phone line will be open every Wednesday moving forward. It's all good, P-Dub. We still love you.
Yeah. Thank you for trying to help us.
Yeah, no, we appreciate it. Next Wednesday, we'll get back to our regularly scheduled Wednesday phone calls. So we appreciate everybody hanging out with us. We'll be back tomorrow morning, 7 to 9 a.m.
Exclusive interview. Be on the lookout. Not really.
Not really, but maybe.